What is happening, YouTube and weight loss warriors? This is your boy C-Dub, and I'm back with another video. I wanted to talk to you guys today about the rebooting of The Biggest Loser. I'm going to do it right after this. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is C-Dub, and if you don't know who I am and it's your first time on the channel, I want to thank you for joining me. I lost 125 pounds by using the OMAD method of intermittent fasting. OMAD means one meal a day. So thanks for joining me up. I'm going to talk to you guys about The Biggest Loser today and my thoughts on it. So the first thing I want to do is talk about my relationship or my viewing of The Biggest Loser, and the second one I want to talk about the show. So I want to say in 2004 when The Biggest Loser came out, my wife and I were dating, and we didn't miss an episode for the first few seasons before it got boring like any reality TV show eventually would when you've seen the same thing over and over again. And so I can remember watching the show, and I remember the number one reason why I enjoyed the show was I looked at these people and I thought to myself, they're bigger than I am. And that means I'm not that big. And that's just a stupid way of thinking. And so I just wanted to let you guys know what my mindset was in 2004. Here I am, a morbidly obese person. Here I am looking at another morbidly obese person, and the thought in my brain is, well, at least I'm not as big as they are. Man, is that not the way to think? Instead of looking at them and saying, I'm mirroring them, I am similar to them, whether I'm 20 pounds lighter than them or not, I am approaching what they're approaching, and I'm probably in a lot of situations then a decade younger than them. And instead of looking at it like, you know what, I need to get myself together or I will become even less healthy, I didn't do that. I judged them, and looking back on that now as a 40-year-old man, when I see an obese person, that's not what I think at all. My heart aches, and I just want to help, and that's the sad truth. So it's amazing how things become full circle, and you mature as you get older and you figure things out. But with all of that aside, I just thought that was interesting. When I heard that the show was being rebooted, I jumped at the chance to make this video. And I'm going to get it up as quickly as possible, guys, because I'm passionate about this. And I don't know if my viewers will be as passionate, but this show was wrong. And this show did people wrong, and I am concerned about it coming back. But I'm going to approach that part of it in two different ways. The first part is really just talking about what they did do. So what they did was they brought these people in, and I don't remember if there were 16 or 12, and they competed week in and week out to see how much weight they could lose. And then at the end of the event, they brought people, the last 3 or so, they'd send home, and then they'd bring them back for a finale show, and they'd have one winner, and they'd give them like $250,000. And so, but what they did at the ranch was they took these people and they dropped their calories so incredibly low, oftentimes like under 1,800 or less a day. Then they exercise these people for a minimum of 4 hours a day. Sometimes they've said as many as 8. Think about that. 8 hours of hard, intense exercising while these people were obese. Now, anybody would tell you that if you're morbidly obese, doing exercise may not be the best answer. You need to consult a doctor. Now, they had doctors on the show, but I've heard they had to give these people IVs. They had to medically check them all the time. They pushed these people to the absolute brink of their physical capabilities and put them in a lot of health risks and tried to get them to drop weight as rapidly as possible. Then at home, you see 25 pounds in a week, and you actually think somebody can do that. Somebody sitting at their house today can start exercising and get on a program and do the same thing that they did, which couldn't be farther from the truth. So ultimately what they did was they got these people to lose massive amount of weight. But this is what they didn't tell you. On that show, in the history of the show, almost every single contestant has gained their weight back. Almost every single one of them. Right now, in our general population, I think it's like 90% of people that lose weight within 5 years gain it back. The Biggest Loser is way higher than that. And the crazy thing is, they're supposed to have had experts to help these people and experts to help them later, which probably didn't pan out very well. So ultimately what they did was they took these guys and put them in an unrealistic situation. Here you are, here's a ranch, no family, no kids, no wife, no nothing. You go work out all day long. We're going to watch what you eat. We're going to prepare your food. We're going to keep you on this low-calorie diet. And then we're going to release you into the real world where you have a 9-to-5 job and you have all these things you have to do and you keep your weight off however you can. And that is just failing them. But more importantly, because they made them lose weight as quickly as they did, because they made them do it on a crash way, and because they lowered their calories so low, they played with this cocktail that ruined these people. Why do I say that? Where's my backing? You guys know that I am a believer in science, and I'm a believer that you have to have multiple resources, and there's different things. But in this situation, Harvard studied one of the groups, and I think it was the 2009 Biggest Loser class. I will link this in the description, I promise, because I'm not one of those bro science guys. So, this is what they found out. Almost all of them, I think every contestant but one on that show, so out of 16 or 12, whichever way it is, I can't remember right now, one made it. One kept the weight down. And that's down. I don't know that he kept it all off. He kept it down. The rest of them all gained their weight back, and some of them gained more than they started with. But what the Harvard group found was that they followed it for 6 years. What they found, and this is the part that man, it really kicks you in the gut. Their metabolisms all slowed down. Well, what in the world does that mean? That means that when they went on the show and they tested their metabolism, these people could burn 3,000, 3,500 calories a day in their natural living. And after they left the show, they're burning 1,000 calories. So they get into the real world, and even if they've been taught the right things and they go onto the right diet and they eat healthy, they now can only eat 1,000 calories, which is almost impossible to maintain the rest of your life. And so what they're doing is they're eating 1,200 calories. They're eating 1,300 calories a day. They might even be eating the right things and eating 1,800 calories. And all of a sudden that weight is creeping back on. And here's the even worse and craziest part of this whole show. It's a thing called leptin. If you don't know what leptin is and you want to know more about leptin, I can do an in-depth video on leptin. I don't want to spend 10 minutes talking about leptin in the middle of this, but I'm going to give you the brief synopsis. Leptin is a hormone actually created by the fat in your body, and leptin actually tells you when you're full. So leptin gets released when you're eating, and it lets your brain know that you're full. And obese people can be leptin resistant the same way that they're insulin resistant. And again, another video, if you want that video, let me know down below. But that leptin resistance, that issue, it is there, but you still need a decent amount of leptin. So they tested everybody going into the Biggest Loser, the Harvard medical group, and they had an average leptin release of 44.1, right? That's how much leptin they released in their day-to-day life. When they left the show, their leptin release was 2. I don't know if you can wrap your head around that. They went from 41, this hormone was active and working and producing and creating, to 2. So that means that when they went home, they were starving at all times. They didn't feel satiated when they finished eating ever. And so 6 years later, we're talking not 1, 2, 3, we're talking 6 full years later when Harvard retested them, their leptin levels were only in the 20s and in the lower 20s, guys. So you're talking about they sliced their leptin in half. Their body no longer could tell them when they were full. So you've created a two-edged sword on the Biggest Loser here. You've lowered the calories that they can eat for the rest of their life, and you've destroyed their leptin that tells them they're full. How are these people going to succeed? How are these people going to succeed? Then, more importantly, there's no program left. There's no lifestyle change. You get dumped right back into the real world. If you can live at the ranch and exercise 8 hours a day, you're good to go, but you can't. You can't. And that's where they failed on this show. That's where we fail as people. We get on a weight loss program, we lose weight, and we go back to what we did and we gain it back. We have to change our lives, guys. The reason that I won't gain the weight back, the reason why I'm going to be in the 10%, and it's a promise, the reason that I'm there is because I've changed my life. I eat 1 time a day, period. Done. End of story. I walk now 6 miles a day. I make sure that I'm doing the right stuff. I'm getting good rest. I've changed everything that I do. That's why I'm having success. If you aren't consistent, you won't have success, and this show didn't teach them that. So, why reboot it? And what are my concerns, or what could something positive come out of it? I did see in the article, when I read it, on the reboot, they did say, and I'll link that article too about the reboot, it's coming out in 2020. They did say that they were going to do it different and more modern. Now, I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. And they did also say they were going to have psychologists and cooks on the show, which they did not have at the previous Biggest Loser. One of the things they did do was roll trigger foods out like donuts and cake and make the Biggest Loser people look at them all the time, which is torture too and completely inhumane. If they do that stuff, you know, the Biggest Loser is just a joke. But maybe they get a psychologist in there to talk to them about food addiction. Maybe they get a cook in there to teach them how to cook foods that they enjoy in a better way and to fit them in. And I'm not saying that the cook has to be a keto guy or the cook has to be a vegan guy or the cook. But hey, let's sit you down. Let's find out what you like to eat and let's find a better way to do it. Let's find a way to do it so you don't die. Let's do that. And if a cook can do that and a psychologist can address their issues and they can put them on a limit, an exercising limit every day, like maybe an hour and a half exercising limit every day, and they put them on a real situation, maybe even the show steps up and does some intermittent fasting. I doubt it, though. I seriously doubt it. Then they can package these people together and teach them the tools that they need to move forward when the show is over. So, guys, I want to leave with this thought that the Biggest Loser is the idea of extreme. And we are all about extreme in our culture. I've got an extreme personality, and anything that's extreme we enjoy. We like the Avengers with all of the, you know, extra cameras and angles and CGI and all the cool things. You know, if we're buying something new, we want to buy the best and the newest and the coolest and the most high tech. And in weight loss, there is none of that. And so I want to leave you guys with this thought on our overall journey, not just on the Biggest Loser. I hope this Biggest Loser remake gets it together. I hope they do the right thing. I hope they have a better plan, because what they did before was borderline abuse. Borderline abuse. So with that out of the way, what I want you guys to understand is that weight loss is small amounts, consistently grinding, taking it like I'm talking now and continuing to chip away and continuing to chip away until one day you've made progress. It is not something that we can just and be skinny. And if you think it is, you have serious issues and you need to correct those before you even get on this journey, guys. I am a guy that's done it. I'm not lying to you. I am promising you right now that it is hard. It is tough. You have to have thick skin. You have to be willing to work and you have to be willing to grind. But if you can do all of those things and you can keep moving forward, and when you fall on your face, you realize that when I fell, it's okay because I fell forward. And I'm going to get up forward and I'm going to keep walking forward. Then you can be successful without something like the Biggest Loser. Stop thinking that that's okay, because it's not okay. And it is not okay to treat obese people the way that they treated them and to get in their faces and do all of those things. What good are they doing by that? How is Jillian Michaels calling you, names going to help you be a better person? What you need to do is address your issues and do better small part at a time. And if Jillian Michaels, would have had a little bit more compassion, sat down with people and talked to them, got them on the right path, maybe they would have had some success. And also, I want to say off the camera, she could have been lovely and talked to them all the time and done. I don't know. It's a TV show. I get it. But the stuff they put on TV is a joke. It's abusive to overweight people. And that show is going to be an epic failure again unless they rewrite it and change the way they do it. All right, guys, man, I kept you long enough. Hit me up with a comment down below. Tell me if you want the leptin video. Smash that like button, guys. Share it with a friend, and you know you gots to subscribe, guys. Hit that sub button. Turn on the bell for notifications. I will catch you guys later. And Monday, coming at you with that collab, guys. I got YouTubers everywhere. It's going to be amazing. I'll talk to you later. Peace.